Hi everyone, it's Steph here from the Novelty Corner and welcome back to my channel and welcome to another Books Beside My Bed video. For those of you who are new here, I form one of these every week where I wrap up the last 7 days worth of reading, and for anyone who is very familiar with the series, welcome back. This is my reading week from the 25th until the 31st of October. It was my Read Digital week, which means that I was trying to read as many things as I could off my Kindle. I did have a bingo board to go along with it with 9 prompts. I didn't read 9 books. I didn't really think I was going to. I have in the past, but you know, 2020. That said, I did manage to get through quite a few books. So this week I read 5 books, a total of 1,270 pages, and my yearly reading total is up to 344 books. The first book that I read this week was Rulebreaker by Kathy Pagel. This was a 2013 release that I gave 3 stars. It is a science fiction romance heist story that features queer characters. So I believe the main character is bisexual. As I said, it is a heist story slash long con sort of story with office romance and enemies to lovers tropes thrown in. We follow Liv Braxton, who is a felon and used to committing bank robberies, and when a heist that she is planning goes wrong, she is then approached by her former husband slash heist partner to be part of a new team that he is on for a really big score. Liv signs up because it's too good to resist. And the only problem to this is that Liv's target, Zia Talbot, turns her world upside down. And while Liv is trying to ferret out the corporate secrets that Zia has, she is also falling in love with her. So this was just a fun adventure story. The sci-fi elements are really only because there's conversation that people can travel between different planets. It's not a massive thing. In fact, I think if you skipped those brief mentions, you wouldn't even realize that it was a science fiction story. So I think it's very accessible. The second book that I read this week was Big Ben by Nana Malone. This is the first book in the See No Evil trilogy. It is a 2020 release that I gave 3.5 out of 5 stars. This is a romantic suspense story. It features an interracial romance as well. We start off the story with Olivia, who is stuck at the corporate party for her boyfriend, and she inadvertently finds herself in a closet with a very handsome stranger who by the end of the night ends up slipping something into her bag, so it leaves the party undetected. Olivia is a little bit put out by this, especially when she discovers that the man she was stuck in the closet with is actually one of her bosses. Ben Covington is a man who has a lot of money and a lot of power, and he got there because of a secret society that he was inducted to many years earlier. However, something has gone wrong and he is determined to undermine the leadership of this society, and he has stolen the information to do that, and that is what he had Olivia sneak out. What he doesn't count on is his attraction to Olivia, especially when she begins to dig into all of his secrets. This was quite fun and very entertaining. It's the first Nana Malone book that I've read, but I've heard very good things about her, and I did definitely enjoy the story. Funny that I read 2 heist stories back to back because that was not intentional. This one does feature quite a few romance tropes. I mean, most romance books do, but in here we have the billionaire, we have the office romance, you have the heist plotline, and also a secret society. And I do love a secret society. Next, I read The Hunting Ground by Katie Robert. This is the second book in the Hidden Sins series. It was a 2017 release. I did give this one 3.5 out of 5 stars. And again, it is a romantic suspense story, although it's more on the suspense thriller side rather than the romance. The romance is sort of there, but it's not the driving plot in the story. We begin the story by meeting Maggie Gaines, who is a former FBI agent who, after her first high-profile serial killer case, ends up leaving the bureau because she couldn't cope. And we meet her 8 years, I think, later, and she is a park ranger at Glacier National Park, where she is quite happy. That is until there is a murder in her park, and it's quite gruesome and quite bloody, so do be aware of that going into the story. And she ends up coming face to face with her former partner Vic, who is out there to investigate whether this murder is connected to 2 prior killings in 2 other national parks. As the two begin to investigate this particular crime and the connection between the other murders, they quickly find themselves embroiled in a mystery while also trying to unravel their own history of attraction to one another. When they had been partners, they had been attracted to one another, but at that point Vic was married, and so nothing ever happened. I think there might have been a kiss, but that was where the line was drawn. I really enjoyed the mystery side of this. I enjoy stories set in national parks. So this was fun, but like I said, I think the romance was a bit light in this book compared to some of the other books that I was reading this week. Then I read Firelight by Kristen Callahan. This is the first book in the Darkest London series. This is a paranormal historical romance book that was first published in 2012, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. We follow Miranda Ellis, who is a young woman in her early 20s who is unmarried but has this ability to start fires and to control fire. This caused problems for her in her youth when she accidentally set fire to her father's warehouse, and so her family lost their fortune, and she has spent the rest of her life trying to make that up to her father by stealing goods for him. And we work out pretty quickly that her father is not a morally upstanding sort of gentleman. In order to get himself out of debt, her father arranges a marriage for Miranda to Lord Archer, who is a masked man of the ton. No one in the ton has seen his face for many, many years, and many believe that he is disfigured because he wears a full face mask, and he has quite the reputation for being a sinister sort of figure. They go through with the marriage, and then suddenly Archer's former friends begin to turn up dead, murdered in quite gruesome ways, and all suspicion is cast on Archer. He is presumed guilty by many, and this causes Miranda to begin to look into her new husband's past and to figure out why he wears the mask. So in here you have your tortured hero trope, an arranged/marriage of convenience for both characters, and a very awesome heroine who has her own powers and the ability to save herself, which I really loved. And then finally I read a short story, Naughty in the Night, which is the Hot Halloween Nights book 2. This was by C.L. Cruz. It is a 2020 release that I gave 3 stars. I think it may have been like 46 pages long, and I read it on Halloween because why not? It is a contemporary romance set in a haunted house. Carrie is a supernatural skeptic who was raised or neglected, depending on your viewpoint, by her mother, who was a psychic. Carrie spends her life trying to debunk the mysteries of the world, and so on Halloween she is attending a ball at a famously haunted mansion where they're having a silent auction, and one of the prizes is to spend a night inside this mansion, which they're notorious for not letting people spend too much time in. While she's there bidding on this prize, she crosses paths with Bennett Lowe, who is also bidding on the same item. He is a true believer, and he has a TV show where he tries to prove all of the mysterious things in the world. So suddenly you have these two characters who have very opposing points of view. As it turns out, they both win the prize, and they spend the night in the mansion where they begin to unravel the truths of both the mansion but also their feelings towards one another. This book was super short. There's not a huge amount of world building and you sort of get thrown straight into it, but it was kind of cute and fun, and it was nice to just read something really short and to the point. Those are all the books that I read in the past all week. Even though I didn't hit all of the books that I wanted to read, I'm still glad about the ones that I did. For the next couple of weeks, I am going to primarily be reading paranormal romance books because when this video goes up, it is right smack in the middle of the paranormal romance readathon, and then we lead straight into the Love in the Night readathon, which I will have a TV up for very soon. In the comments below, let me know if you have read any of these books or if you're planning on reading them in the future. I would love to know. Otherwise, feel free to share some of the things that you have been reading. I hope that wherever you are in the world, you are staying safe and healthy, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye everyone.